She was elegance, laughter, and wit personified, a Hollywood legend whose warmth filled every room she entered. But 5 days after her passing, that warmth turned into whispers. Behind the tributes and headlines, a darker story began to take shape. A family divided, a fortune disputed, and questions that refused to die. October 11th, 2025. The morning was quiet in Santa Monica. Inside a sun-drenched villa, paramedics rushed to save 79-year-old Diane Keaton, the Oscar-winning star of Annie Hall and The Godfather. Official reports said it was pneumonia. But fans, friends, and even those who once worked with her felt something wasn't right. Why had she disappeared from the public eye months earlier? Why had she sold her beloved Beverly Hills home so suddenly? And why, within days of her passing, were her 2 adopted children and biological sisters already at war over her $100 million estate? Diane's story had always been one of resilience. She built a 50-year career through intelligence, humor, and sheer independence. But in the final year of her life, that independence began to fade. Those closest to her noticed the changes first. Rapid weight loss, a constant cough, a retreat from friends. She stopped walking her dog, Reggie. Her lively Instagram posts vanished. The woman who once filled rooms with energy now lived behind closed curtains in Palm Springs. According to one longtime friend, she wasn't just getting older, she was disappearing. The official explanation was pneumonia. Yet doctors pointed out that such a quick decline in someone like Diane often means something else. Maybe another illness, maybe neglect, maybe both. In early 2025, wildfires forced her to leave Beverly Hills. But the move came with odd choices. She sold her meticulously restored Spanish colonial home, the one she'd once called her forever place. To fans, this was shocking. Diane wasn't just a homeowner, she was a preservationist. She'd spent decades restoring historic properties across California. So why sell her crown jewel at a loss without any public statement? Then came her retreat. No red carpet events, no public appearances. Only her 2 adopted children, Dexter and Duke, seemed to know what was happening behind those walls. 5 days after her death, the calm broke. Dexter and Duke appeared separately at law offices in Los Angeles and Santa Monica, each clutching thick folders. Their goal? Control of their mother's massive fortune. Dexter, now 30, was an interior designer, ambitious, meticulous, and fiercely protective of her mother's legacy. She claimed she deserved the largest share because she had been closest to Mom. The Brentwood house, she argued, was her inheritance. Not just a property, but a memory. It's part of who we were, she told one confidant. Duke, 25, thought differently. A young tech entrepreneur, he wanted access to Diane's cash reserves and film royalties, worth nearly $50 million. He said Diane had supported his startups and promised he would carry on her independent dream. At first, the tension was quiet, polite statements through lawyers. But it didn't stay that way. Old emails surfaced. Dexter accused Duke of convincing their mother to amend her trust while she was weak. Duke countered that Dexter was hoarding everything for herself. Soon, both hired private investigators to audit the estate. The will itself, drafted in 2015, updated in March 2025, left room for interpretation. Diane had named both children as heirs but never specified percentages. She also earmarked donations to preservation charities, the LA Conservancy, and several animal shelters. Dexter opposed selling any of the homes. Duke wanted to liquidate them to fund his ventures. Their arguments spilled beyond conference rooms. Family friends heard shouting matches over video calls. At one meeting, a lawyer had to separate them. And then, as if the situation wasn't painful enough, 2 more voices entered the fight. Diane's biological sisters, Dory and Robin Hall, both in their 70s, stepped forward. They claimed Diane had promised them financial support in her later years. Dory, a retired actress, wanted funds for the family's care. Robin demanded royalties from Diane's memoir Brother and Sister, saying her name and memories were used in the book. They argued that as blood relatives, they had a right to something, even if Diane's children were adopted. Dexter was furious. She sent sharp letters to the lawyers. "Our mother chose us, not them." Duke, surprisingly, sided with his sister this time, but even their temporary alliance couldn't hide the fractures. Meetings grew explosive. One insider said that during a heated confrontation at a Los Angeles law office, voices rose so high that staff had to step in. Dory and Robin accused the children of greed. Dexter accused them of manipulation. No one walked out satisfied. What made the situation worse was how fast it all happened. Diane hadn't even been gone a week before her family was already dividing her legacy. Fans online were appalled. "They didn't even let her rest," one comment read. But deeper questions kept emerging. Was pneumonia really the full story? Friends described Diane's last months as eerie. She had become reclusive, controlled by a tight circle, mostly her 2 adopted children. Visitors were turned away. Even longtime collaborators couldn't reach her. And when the 911 call came on October 11th, it was late. Too late. The paramedics did what they could, but she was gone within hours. The autopsy listed bacterial pneumonia. Yet some medical experts noted that in older adults, pneumonia rarely kills that suddenly unless other factors are involved: malnutrition, neglect, or weakened immunity. Had Diane been denied proper care? Had her condition been ignored? Or, the darkest thought of all, had she been deliberately isolated for control? The idea first surfaced on Reddit, then on X, then across entertainment forums. Fans pieced together timelines. The property sale, her vanishing from public life, her children's immediate legal rush. The pattern felt too deliberate. One viral post asked bluntly, "Did Diane Keaton's kids let her die for the money?" It sounded cruel, but thousands agreed it was worth asking. Inside Diane's Palm Springs home, a friend later said, "Everything was quiet." Too quiet? The house was spotless, minimalist. No fresh flowers, no laughter, no music. Meals were small and repetitive. Staff turnover was high. According to another source, she seemed medicated all the time, slower, dazed. They said it was exhaustion, but something didn't feel right. Could her children, knowingly or not, have created an environment where her health spiraled beyond recovery? Dexter and Duke, both intelligent and ambitious, knew their mother's fortune better than anyone. Her estate spanned film royalties, publishing rights, and over $50 million in real estate. If she died before changing her trust, everything would transfer directly to them. And that's exactly what happened. When news of her death broke, the press release came not from a publicist, but from the family lawyer. It was brief, cold, and clinical. "The family requests privacy," it said. No details about the hospital, no statement from her children. The cremation was arranged within 48 hours. Reporters later discovered that the death certificate had been filed 5 days before the public even knew she was gone. That delay raised eyebrows. Why hide the timing? Meanwhile, inside the lawyer's office, Dexter and Duke began cataloging every property, royalty, and artwork. Dory and Robin demanded transparency, claiming the will's charitable donations were being erased. Each side hired more attorneys. Each interview leaked new accusations. The tabloids called it Hollywood's coldest inheritance war. Diane Keaton had always said she wanted peace, not conflict. "My children are my real legacy," she wrote in Then Again. But watching from afar, if she could, she'd see the opposite: bitterness, greed, and suspicion. She had loved them deeply. She'd chosen adoption not out of charity but conviction. "Motherhood changed me," she once said. "It humbled me." Now, those same children were accused of betraying her for fortune. Were they guilty, or simply victims of circumstance? 2 siblings raised in privilege, trying to secure what they believed was theirs. The truth may never be proven. There's no evidence of wrongdoing, only timing, isolation, and silence. But sometimes, silence speaks louder than any confession. As investigations continue and the estate remains in dispute, the public fascination with Diane Keaton's final days only grows. Fans remember her laugh, her hats, her wit, the woman who made the world smile. Yet her final chapter reads more like a noir film than a Hollywood ending. Was it pneumonia, or a quiet, calculated tragedy behind closed doors? For now, the mystery remains unsolved, a haunting reflection of fame, family, and the price of love. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Because sometimes, the brightest lights hide the darkest secrets, and the truth behind Diane Keaton's final days may still be waiting to be told.